Hey, welcome to my channel. Today's topic is not for the faint of heart. We'll be discussing one of the most insane and sadistic serial killers in history, Anatoly Negiyev. His crimes were marked by their brutality and complete disregard for human life. Despite his heinous acts, Negiyev was able to evade capture for years, leaving a lasting impact on the people of St. Petersburg. So buckle up and get ready for a deep dive into the chilling case of Anatoly Negiyev. Negiyev was born on March 15, 1967, in the small village of Belorchi in the Krasnodar Krai region of Russia. His early years were marked by poverty and neglect as his parents struggled to make ends meet. Negiyev's mother was an alcoholic, and his father was frequently absent, leaving him to fend for himself. As a child, Negiyev was known to be an introverted and troubled child. He would often get into fights with other children and was frequently bullied. He dropped out of school at an early age and began working odd jobs to support himself. It was during this time that he began to develop an interest in the macabre. Negiyev's first known murder was in 1989 when he killed a homeless man and stole his money. He would go on to kill at least 9 more people over the next few years. Negiyev's victims were usually young women who were either prostitutes or drug addicts. He would lure them to secluded areas and then strangle them to death. He would then mutilate their bodies and engage in necrophilia. Negiyev's crimes became more and more brutal as time went on. He began to experiment with torture and would sometimes keep his victims alive for days, subjecting them to unimaginable horrors. He also began to dabble in cannibalism, eating parts of his victims' bodies after killing them. Despite his heinous crimes, Negiyev managed to evade capture for several years. It wasn't until 1995 that he was finally apprehended by the police. He was found to have several items of clothing and personal effects belonging to his victims in his possession, as well as a collection of knives, ropes, and other torture devices. Negiyev was eventually convicted of 9 murders and sentenced to life in prison. He died in prison in 2014 at the age of 47. His crimes have left a lasting impression on the people of St. Petersburg and are still remembered today as some of the most brutal and sadistic in history. The case of Anatoly Negiyev is a chilling reminder of the depravity that some human beings are capable of. His crimes were motivated by a deep-seated hatred and resentment of society, as well as a twisted desire for power and control. While it is impossible to fully understand the mind of a serial killer like Negiyev, his case serves as a warning of the dangers of unchecked mental illness and the importance of early intervention and treatment. Anatoly Negiyev's crimes were not only marked by their brutality, but also by their sheer frequency. He was able to evade capture for years, allowing him to continue his killing spree without consequence. This was in part due to the fact that his victims were often marginalized members of society, such as drug addicts and prostitutes, who were not always reported missing right away. Negiyev was also very careful to dispose of his victims' bodies in remote locations, making them difficult to find. Despite the horrific nature of his crimes, Negiyev was not without his admirers. There were some people in St. Petersburg who were fascinated by his exploits and saw him as a sort of anti-hero. This is not uncommon in cases of serial killers, as some people are drawn to the allure of violence and power that these individuals represent. Negiyev's case also highlights the issue of mental illness and its role in violent crime. While there is no definitive answer as to why people like Negiyev commit such heinous acts, it is clear that mental illness plays a role in many cases. In Negiyev's case, he suffered from schizophrenia and had a long history of mental health problems. However, he was never properly diagnosed or treated, allowing his illness to go unchecked and manifest in violent ways. The legacy of Anatoly Negiyev's crimes is still felt in St. Petersburg today. His reign of terror left a lasting impact on the city, and his name is still associated with fear and horror. However, his case has also served as a wake-up call to the dangers of unchecked mental illness and the need for better mental health care and support. And that's it for today's video. I hope you found it as interesting and informative as I did. The case of Anatoly Negiyev serves as a stark reminder of the darkness that can exist within the human psyche and the importance of early intervention and treatment for mental illness. While we may never fully understand the motivations behind his crimes, we can work towards preventing future tragedies by recognizing and addressing mental health issues. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.